Good morning and welcome to another one of my tutorials. My name is Ethan and today I'm going to be going through the Boolean modifier. Now this is a modifier that I think everyone should really know what to use because it's very good for making quick changes to your design, to your models, and it's way faster than doing them than modifying the mesh by hand. So what we'll do is that I've set up here just a little bit of a scene. I'm going to go through each one of the choices in the Boolean modifiers to show you what will happen when you use these two on all different selections. Okay, so I'm going to start here and we're going to add the Boolean modifier, which is over here in the modifier tab, Boolean, make that a little larger. So first we'll start with the intersect. And what we do is that we have our sphere selected. We're going to use the eyedropper here to select the cube. Now, as you can see here, what's after happening is that where the cube intersects the sphere is where it cuts, and it keeps everything that is inside the sphere afterwards. So if I was to turn off the cube here now, you can see that it's just whatever was intersecting with the cube is kept. So for the next one, we'll go down here to our modifier properties. We'll go add modifier, Boolean, and this time we'll choose the union. Again, we will select our cube, and what this one has done is that it has joined the two together. If I take you here to the X-ray mode, it has joined the two together and removed all internal faces. So if I just click out of that again, you can see that the sphere is intersecting the cube. But when I turn back on the Boolean modifier and select the cube again, whatever was inside the cube has now been disappeared, and the sphere on the outside has been joined to the cube. So it's basically become one. Two objects have now become one mesh. This is great for if you were combining two different models together. It will remove all the internal phases, so it'll remove the chances of going back and editing for non-manifold areas. This is especially good for 3D printing. And lastly, we're going to use it again. This time we're going to choose difference. So again, choose the eyedropper. I'll just go back into normal mode, cube. And then what this is that it's kind of the opposite to intersect, where if we go to that now, it has basically removed everything on the inside, but they're not joined. They're still two separate parts. It's just modeled the difference between the two objects, so it's taken that away. And you can actually see that better if I take away if I can just slowly move away the cube here now, you can see that it changes. So it's actually really good for removing parts of a model that you might not want. If you wanted to make one straight edge down a model, you could just create a cube, bring it across, and then it would take away any part that was inside the cube. So it's actually really good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the opposite. Before we started with the sphere and then we've made the modifications using the cube. This time I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to select the cube and use the sphere to do the modification. So select the cube, we use Boolean, go intersect, and we'll select the sphere. Now what's happened here is the part of the sphere, wherever the sphere has intersected the cube, and it has left everything. And technically what you're seeing here is the cube. This is what the cube has. This is the part of the cube, but because the sphere was inside it, it just looks like another part. If I actually enlarge this, might be able to see it a little bit better. And yeah, there you go. So as you can see, the sphere is I've made the sphere slightly larger so that you can now see it intersecting the cube, and what is from left is the cube and all the parts that the sphere intersected. That's why it looks slightly different to the rest. But as you can see, look, they're basically the same settings, same model, I suppose, just slightly different, and you get a very different result. Okay, so we're going to move on. We will now select our cube for the second option. We'll go Boolean, Union, and Sphere. Now, these two are going to be pretty much the same thing because, again, we're just, except it's the other way around, going from the cube onto the sphere. So there's not much of a difference. It's just it's just the opposite way and applying it from the previous one. Then next, for the last one, we'll go Boolean on the cube, and we'll select our object. There you go. So what this has done is that similar to this, it's just removed. So the cube has removed the part of the sphere here, whereas this one, the sphere has removed part of the cube. And as you can see, it's taken a nice little bit of a divot out of the cube. So I mean, with a couple of different shapes, you can get you can get 6 different ways of modeling with one modifier, and it's really good for like taking parts away from a model or looking to join two parts together. There is a little bit of a learning curve with it. I think that you know union is pretty okay. You just click the two parts you want to join, and it joins. The difference in the intersect, it's a bit more. You get kind of got to play around and kind of wrap your head around so that you kind of become comfortable with it. Using it, but it is easy once you know what you're doing. So I wouldn't worry too much. Let's just go through some of these sections here. So obviously we have our intersect, union, and difference there, just what we've kind of gone through here now. The operand type is basically what you're selecting. Now you can select a collection, which will be a collection of models put together, which will be a bit more of a step up, or the object, which is what we were using. We were doing an object to an object. This is your selection. So if you were, again, we select our cube, use the dropper tool to select our sphere, and then that was how Blender knows to perform the operations between the two of those. Our solver. Now this is the difference between going for a fast calculation for the Boolean or an exact calculation. One takes slightly longer than the other. If you were using more complex parts, it would be, it would take a little bit longer to do the exact one. The faster one, you can set a threshold so that how exact you want to be. Exact would be this is exactly exactly the sphere in here. And just to give you kind of a quick example of something that's not a sphere and a cube. This was the thumbnail I created last week for another tutorial that I did. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you what would happen if we applied it to a model. So I'm going to bring in a cube, going to just, I don't know, maybe there. I'm then going to select the monkey face that is here, and I'm going to apply the Boolean modifier to it. So first off, I'm going to click intersect, click the cube, and as you can see, it's took a little bit longer that time because obviously it is it's a bit more complex. And yeah, so there you can see now I've just put it on difference and fast because being exact would take a little bit longer. But where the cube was, it has taken the difference away. So now we have an internal view of the monkey mesh. Union obviously will just join the two together where they are, and intersect then will basically everything. Oh, that's creepy. Every part of the monkey face that is inside the cube is kept, while everything else outside the cube has been deleted. I'm going to go back to difference because that's a bit there. That's better. So yeah, that's basically been Boolean. I hope you've enjoyed. I don't try to make these too long because, as a quick tutorials, you just want it to be quick. So if you've liked it, like the video, I suppose. And yeah, thank you very much.